got to be good at me.
Okay, yeah, you look good. You all look good. Very good. Okay, hi there. Thank you for agreeing to participate in the golf Garland. Can you all just give your names and where you're from?
My name is Graham Oliver. I'm from Kippens, Newfoundland, living on the shores of the Gulf of St. Lawrence.
My name is Marjorie Robertson. I'm from Kippens, and I just love being in this province.
My name is Wayne Hansel, and I'm from Stephenville, and I love Bay St. George.
Beautiful. And
I'm Kathy March, and I live in Kippens, and I've lived here most of my life. 17 years I spent in Felix Cove and lived along the coastline, and I love the place.
awesome. Thanks. And the first question I'm going to ask you is, what do you love about living in this area on the Gulf?
I like living in this area because I like to kayak, and I've kayaked most of the shores from here all the way up to past Gros Morne, so it's a very nice place to be.
I love the beautiful smell of the salt air and the beautiful scenery and the ecological haven that the Gulf contains for the wildlife and for just an amazing place to recreate and to enjoy on so many levels.
I love hiking and beachcombing. With hiking, I love to go to Cabax, the highest spot in Newfoundland, and overlooking the Gulf, and I love that view. Also beachcombing. I love our pristine beach and finding new items every time I go to the beach. It is exciting.
I love everything about it, really. I'm a hiker too. I spend a lot of time hiking along the coastline and up Pine Tree, and I mean, I've been so lucky to have seen so much wildlife, you know, in my hikes and walks. And you know, one time I saw 200 porpoises or dolphins out in the water chasing the mackerel. I mean, I've seen all the ducks that are in Abbott's Pond. I mean, I've even seen photos that other people have taken, like of sea otters in the water, and like the loons, the whales, everything. And I just can't imagine going out there one day and it not being there.
Great. So can you share with me your favorite place or memory of living in this area? If you can think of one.
My favorite memory is getting into a kayak at 5:45 in the morning in Point Amal, heading north down the coast, thinking I was going to have a full day paddling all the way to Bay of Islands, only to find out that the wind came up around 11 o'clock in the morning, and we were sent ashore in the beautiful Serpentine Valley by the river, and we spent the entire day and night waiting for the wind to die down. Beautiful spot.
My most beautiful place that I absolutely love to go is this gorgeous walking trail which is called the Gravels. And actually, from the Gravels on this walking trail, you have beautiful, beautiful beaches and the water and the pristine, tropical-looking water, and seeing whales. And it looks over and you can see Shoal Point where actually fracking is being proposed. And I just cannot imagine seeing drilling rigs or methane flares, that this beautiful walking trail will be changed forever.
My favorite memory or place is Long Point, and that's the point of land that creates the Port-au-Port Bay. And what I love most about Long Point is just walking and looking at all of the driftwood. The driftwood is incredible. It's so immense, and I just love that walk. It is incredible.
I guess my favorite spot would have to be Pine Tree, because I've hiked there so often over the years, and I'm always so touched by the beauty of the water as I look out over the bay, and the sunsets. I've got such beautiful photos of brilliant sunsets, and just the birds and the fishing boats out there. It's just, I don't know, every time, it doesn't matter if it's winter, if it's fall, spring, or summer, it's got so many different personalities, and it's just amazing.
Great. And now I'm going to ask you why you think oil and gas development shouldn't be allowed here?
Well, I've been giving presentations along with Wayne here and Abe Mahoney, and we've given 26 or 27 presentations to date. And when you look at the shale in the Greenpoint Shale Formation and listen to geologists and you listen to the people and you see all the problems with the geology here, and you realize that the wind blows south or westerly onshore, if there's ever a spill here in our Gulf, which is about a third the size of the Gulf of Mexico, the entire Gulf will be ruined for a very, very, very long time. I've already lived through 2 oil spills, the Kurdistan and the Arrow in Chetabukdo Bay, and I saw the leftovers of that. It's not pretty.
There are so many issues that I have problems with fracking, the methane flares, the pollution, the effect on climate change, the truck traffic and the infrastructure and what it does in terms of industrializing communities and changing a way of life that we love here, how it affects tourism, how it affects the fishery. But out of all of that, the one that bothers me probably the most is the wastewater, where you throw all these chemicals in the ground and all this produced water, toxic water comes up, and you have frack pits that could be radioactive, that contain many, many dangerous chemicals. And then we have to come up with the idea, where is this going? What is happening to it? How will it be affected by the weather, these frack pits? How will it travel by truck? We are endangering our community with this. We are exposing ourselves to toxics that we don't need to, when we really need to be looking at other alternative forms of energy. Fracking is a no-no. It is bad.
I'm against fracking in the Port-au-Port area, and my reason has to do with balancing the wealth and the health, or the risk. The way I look at it is that the risk is too great. Our bay is beautiful. We need it for the fishermen. We need it for the tourism. We need it for our children. And whenever you weigh the wealth and the health, you come to the conclusion that health is first, and therefore we must do our best to prevent fracking in Port-au-Port Bay.
I think it shouldn't go ahead because an oil spill in the Gulf, in Port-au-Port Bay is part of the Gulf, would be just catastrophic. There's so many species, vulnerable species like the leatherback turtle, different species of whales, spawning ground for lobsters, scallop fishery, so much wildlife that is, I mean, our Gulf is crucial for its sustenance, and no oil and gas is worth jeopardizing our wildlife for.
And I would just like to say one other thing, that we have to look at alternative energies, and when you have a solar spill, it's just a nice day.
Well said.
Oh my god, that leads really good into my last question, and thank you. That's so great. So the last question is, what would be your worst fear if a disaster like the BP spill happened in the Gulf? What would be the worst fear would be that this would be a toxic environment to live in. People who live along these shores, they would not, there's fishery there now, that would be ruined. The tourism industry that comes here, 228 million a year along the west coast, 1 billion a year provincially, would be devastated. And therefore, if we can't sustain ourselves on a renewable industry like tourism, fishing, then we're doomed. So an oil spill here would result in people moving away, and it wouldn't be fit to live in.
Guess when I think of an oil spill, I just think of all those images that you've seen where spills have occurred before, where you have oil-laced ducks coming on shore, just not being able to breathe, gone. And what crew could go in there and try to change this and remediate it? It's just not possible anymore. we have to look at our children's children, what we would be leaving. A spill in the ocean would be devastating. A spill on land would be devastating. You just have to look at Lac Megantic to see this highly volatile crude. What happened? People are dying. We have to seriously look at this. There has to be an end to this incredible addiction to fossil fuel extraction, aka fracking.
My biggest fear is that we would have a barren bay. We would be similar to the moon. It would be completely barren. And my concern about a spill is that the bay doesn't flush like you would in an arm, but this bay is enclosed and it comes in and out through the same side. Therefore, it would take longer to heal, and I think that it might be permanently barren, and that is my fear.
Yeah, my fear is it would be permanently damaged. Life as we know it and as we've enjoyed our whole lifetime wouldn't exist anymore. And my heart and soul is in this place. And I can't imagine being anywhere else. I don't want to be anywhere else, and I just really don't want anything to jeopardize it.
I'll finish it off with one statement. In 1969, I was attending St. FX. It was in January. I listened to the radio that morning and said the Arrow hit Cypress Rock coming into Shettibucto Bay. It is now 2013. It's 1969 to 2013. I still kayak along that shore. You can still see hydrocarbons on the shores of Lennox Passage when you go up there. That's what, 31, 41, 44 years? It's a long time.
And I would like to just quote this phrase that I've seen that states, "We treat this planet as if we have another place to go to."
I would like to add too that the reason why I'm against fracking is because we do not have a planet B.
Thank you.
Say no to fracking.
Woo! Thanks so much for being part of the Gulf Garland. You guys rock.
Thank you.